Welcome to the second section of our course where we're going to be understanding functions in iOS development. And we're going to be starting with displaying text within our applications. Now this can be a little bit different from the first application we created in terms of Hello World where we displayed text within a label. The difference is we're going to be displaying user inputted text from a UI text field. This allows our users to input their own data into our application and get it displayed within a label. So to do this is pretty simple. We're going to scroll down and find a UI text field. I'm going to drag and drop it in. These UI text fields allow users to input their own information. You probably would have seen these very commonly in like forms or stuff in applications or games where you need to put in your user's name or anything like that. So we put that in. We're placing our label and our button. Let's place the button underneath. Space that over. And our label underneath. So what's going to happen then, we're going to input our data into our UI text field and then press our button. The button is going to take the data from our text field and display it within our label. Okay, so we've got interface all set up. We're going to bring up our assistant editor. Make sure we're selected on our viewcontroller.h. And now we're going to create actions and outlets for our objects. So we'll start with our outlets. So the first outlet we're going to need is for our text field. Drop that in. And I simply name it text field. Connect that up. And then obviously one for our label. Simply name this label. Add that in. And then we're going to create an action for our button. And I simply name it display text. Nice and easy, making sure that is an action with an event of touch up inside. Okay then, so we created our action and two outlets for our objects. We can now move on to getting the information and displaying it in. So it's a pretty simple process and very easy to understand. I'll space out our button here so we can clearly see what we're typing. So basically what we want to do is take the information from our text field and then display that information within our label. Now there's no kind of configuration to setting up to allowing our users to import or kind of use our text field. It's one of the brilliant things about Xcode and the abilities that objects already know how they react. They already know what to do when the user selects them. So already when the user selects our text field, it's going to bring up our keyboard and allow them to import data into it. So all we need to do is get our label. So the name of our label, self.label.text. So we get the text attribute of our label and we need to equal it to the data of our text field. And it's very simple. We'll just repeat the same process. Use self.textfield.text and then that with a semicolon. So what's basically happening is we're getting our label, then we're selecting the text attribute of our label and equaling the text attribute to the text attribute of our text field. So whatever text has been inputted into our text field will then copy and paste itself and display itself within our label. So to give you an example, if we go to build and run, we can select our text field and it brings up our keyboard and I can type in simply hello. And by doing that, we press our button. It then takes that text and displays it within our label. I could also write out a load of more gobbledygook and press our button and it displays it in there. So this is showing you how to get the information from certain objects which users have imported their own information, take that information and display it elsewhere within our application. It's a brilliant way to get users to add their name into their game or input their own information, or even if you created your own questionnaire kind of application or quiz. It's a way of your users importing information into the app and you displaying it from it. So in the next lecture we're going to talk about text properties and what we can do with the text within our application and how we can adjust it. So in the next lecture we're going to be talking about text properties and how we can change the property of text or information within our application.